There's like the Japanese soldiers in the jungle. Remember, when World War II was over, then there's these 2 Japanese like commandos that were like still in the jungle for like 10 years after the war was over.
This is 100%.
And people were like, "Hey, you know the war is over," and they're like, "I don't believe you. I don't believe we would never surrender. I don't believe that." I feel like the people with the free Tory still in their bio, like you guys are those who are like, "Yo, it's done." Welcome back, everybody. This is Soundbites, a part of the Album Mode podcast, when we're talking about the music, the culture, and the internet. How those 3 things intertwine to create the music culture that we have today. I'm speaking here as DeMar Grant, a.k.a. The Bunny, right? A.k.a. King Grant. And I'm here with my esteemed co-host, co-creator, Adriel Smiley, a.k.a. AdrielSmiley.com, a.k.a. Mr. Smiley, a.k.a. The Godfather. And we're also here with our producer, Agent Zero, Patient Zero, Chris. Adriel, we are in a weird time, my friend.
Yes.
Spotify is revamping the rules again, where they're now basically making it so that you have to have your song streamed 1,000 times before it counts as any sort of dollar value for an artist. This is a change that they've been talking about implementing for a month. I think a month now, because we mentioned it before. Yeah,
about a month, and it's going to start next year.
Yeah. So the move is like designed to demonetize, the population of tracks today. On average, they earn, less than 5 cents per month, right? And I think that Spotify is basically this is what they elect or say, right? The messaging is that they're trying to reduce the amount of money that people are getting from like trying to like scam the system by like flooding it with like 1 million songs, or having like 2 songs that get they're having like 100 songs that get like 50 plays, 500 plays or something like that. And you're kind of just like you're scraping money away from Spotify. So they're allegedly, this is what the messaging is, that they're trying to combat that. But really, it's kind of just become like another bar that you have to clear as like a small artist to get any money from the music that you create and put on their platform, which is content for them, free content. You have to have at least 1,000 plays to get anything, a red penny back from Spotify. You need to have at least 1,000 plays. Which is crazy
because you're still not getting much with 1,000 streams. So it's kind of like, what's the point in a sense? They say that this will relocate tens of millions of dollars per year, which is like, I guess there's a lot of people doing this. The number being thrown around is it will move about $40 million, which is like, okay, that's
money.
That's a chunk of change. Yeah. All right, I get it. But I do think that essentially you're kind of taking away from these artists who, you're right, are doing the whole accumulation style of, we put out 40 songs, and in total, we'll get some streams. But as a small artist, like, I feel like you got to try and get more than 1,000 streams. If we're looking at it from that perspective of like who this is affecting in terms of the under 1,000 streams group, is like, there are plenty of artists who are still small that have every song over 1,000 streams.
Right.
So it's like, if your song's under 1,000 streams in the first place, the 20 cents that Spotify is taking from you, just, it's not like you can't make the money. Get past 1,000 streams, make your 20 cents back. That's kind of my take on it. Even though I do think, where does this end? That's kind of really more my concern than this in a vacuum. Where does this end? Like, what's the next thing Spotify does to kind of make up some money? And because as far as I know, Spotify hasn't been strapped for cash. Maybe something that I don't know, but as far as I know, they haven't been strapped for cash. So do they need this $40 million? Remains to be seen. But my question is, what's the next step? Because I don't think it ends here. I don't know what comes after this. Yeah. But I don't think it ends here.
Yeah, what if they do 5,000 streams next,
That's a different story.
Yeah. I think that I feel like we're living in like I don't know if it's like a transitional period in music, or like something where it's just, I feel like the ability for artists to make money via their music is becoming more difficult. Like when we're talking about, this requirement of having to have 1,000 streams, which in the grand scheme of things, right, is not that many, to be honest. But the fact that there is now like a legitimate
threshold,
legitimate threshold that you have to pass is like it's again a barrier for entry. But then also the things with Bandcamp, just again, is just like making things more difficult for smaller artists to actually earn money from the work that they put into the music industry is something that's obviously happening. Like I feel like the only way you don't know that this is happening is like you're just not paying attention.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're passively listening to your Drakes, your Lil Babies, your Gunnas, your Mitskis, whatever. Right. I even feel like Mitski is kind of like Bandcamp adjacent, but
adjacent.
Yeah. But so if you're like, not actively part of like the music community in any sort of way, I would consider us part of the music community. Then you're not even gonna notice, to be honest. But if you are in and you're active and you're like, you're doing a podcast or you're writing or you're a musician or you're a producer or something like that, the belt continuously gets tightened. It's continuously getting tightened to a point where eventually people are gonna get squeezed out. The Bandcamp thing, people are definitely getting squeezed on that. Yeah. And then this is another like squeezing measure, bro.
It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
I think my pushback in a sense is like the splits are so low. So it's kind of like if you're not getting over 1,000 streams, like how much are you making on your 800 streams?
Yeah.
Like it's not as if you're making $800 on your 800 streams. You're making...
What a dream that would be.
That would be amazing.
What a dream. Can you imagine $1 per stream? Drake would be like Drake and Taylor Swift would be like legitimately one of the richest people on planet Earth.
That would be... No, but the stream farms would be going
nuts. The stream farms would be going crazy. So...
But it's like, that's my main issue is like, the fight for pennies. Like this is really a fight for pennies.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, Spotify is winning the fight for pennies.
Yeah.
But ultimately it's fight for pennies because again, if you are under 1,000 streams, the payout on that, everyone knows you need 1 million streams to make $3,000. Yeah. So do the math on how much 1,000 streams is making you. Yeah. So it's like if they raise the threshold, then it will get worse.
Yeah.
But I think 1,000, like because they announced this before without saying what the threshold was. And now that we know the threshold, 1,000 is probably like the base level before I really get pissed.
Yeah.
If it's like 10,000, 20,000, different story. But 1,000 is probably the threshold of like, that's fine.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I'm just like, for me, it's just like everybody's trying to do labor. I want people paid for their labor.
Yes.
The 1,000 streams thing is just like, to me, it's just, I think maybe I'm looking at it at a larger scale where like this, I would say this is small potatoes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm just seeing a million small potatoes piling up into a pile.
It's all adding up, man. It's all adding up.
I'm seeing a pile of small potatoes now where I'm like, this is not very good. So yeah, I think that the Spotify thing, even though it's not that big of a deal currently, I would say, I think if you're really making music, you should probably be making it over 1,000 streams. But overall, I think it's not that huge of a deal. I think it's a deal. Again, small potatoes type of deal. But they're saying that it's going to save them about $40 million.
We don't care about you saving money, fam.
Yeah. I would prefer for the plethora of artists that are making music that's getting under 1,000 streams to be getting a slice of that 40 million instead of Spotify. So, yeah, that's where I sit on that, basically. I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
Now, let's move on to some good news.
Okay. Missy Elliot is becoming the first female rapper to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Is she the first? Yep, that adds up.
Yeah. First female rapper to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Congratulations to Missy Elliot. Top 50?
Yes.
Okay.
Big top 50.
Top 50. And I think that she, so much great work, which is, one thing that's weird to me is that why does the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induct hip hop artists. I'm not saying that's a problem. I'm not saying it's a problem at all. I'm just like, why does the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame do this? And then if they're doing so many, should it be named something else?
I think it should be named something else. One, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame basically becoming the Pop Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And then the second answer, there is no Hip Hop Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And so that's just
maybe we should come up with that. Start inducting people into our Hip Hop Hall of Fame.
I told you I have a no. I'm ready when you are, man. I'm ready when you are.
Right.
I have a whole thing about that. But I think that it makes sense as the first woman. That's the one thing I want to highlight. I think as a first woman rapper, Missy is the right choice.
Really?
I think for sure. I think they got it perfect with that one.
Okay.
Missy,
not Lil Kim?
No. Sorry, not no, just no.
It was a little bit aggressive.
Yeah. Not no.
Lil Kim top 50?
So.
So you're having a conversation.
I don't think so.
Okay. But yeah,
But Missy is the right choice for the first one.
Yeah, Missy Elliot, Nicki Minaj could have been. Maybe she's too new. Maybe she's too new.
Nicki, I think, is too new, and I think like Nicki would probably be the youngest person in this Hall of Fame.
And she's still active.
And I think not before Missy. I think Missy is such a trailblazer in what she did like early in her career, mixing rap and R&B the way she did. I think we don't give her as much credit because she's a woman.
Yeah, her music videos were sick.
Music videos as well. Good. But when we talk about like mixing like rap and R&B together, we really focus on the men who have done it.
Yeah,
and she was doing it before Little Brother, before Drake, before Kanye. So that's one thing that she's a big part of. And then as well, the influence she's had on like the rappers who have come after her.
Yeah,
huge. You talk about the videos. You talk about kind of her artistry. She's from that group where it's like she's a musician and a poet and an entertainer.
Right.
Like she's from that cloth. So I'm a huge Missy Elliott fan. I think she's just to me. I don't think she's the GOAT female rapper. I think that Nicki, I think, is eventually going to become that, or is that already, depending on how you look at it. Yeah. But I think Missy is like right there.
Yeah,
right
she's
there.
Definitely at the top. I think that again, her music videos are incredible, and also her combination of like a lot of the music videos had dancing in it. Right, so like it was very hip hop even in that sense, where you had dancers, people like doing hip hop dancing in hip hop music, and it wasn't just like it was very central to the genre. Is what I'm trying to say. Missy Elliott, trailblazer in so many ways. I do think that Super Duper Fly is gonna be like one of those that would be in the Hip Hop Hall of Fame.
100%. First ballot.
Right. So I think that excellent selection. I guess she's the best one for the first one. I'm really trying to rack the brain on like who
else would be first.
Yeah, and I can't really think of maybe Lauryn Hill.
No, she's before Lauryn Hill.
Okay. Yeah.
I think the only other person.
Lauryn Hill top 50.
That's a conversation. That's a conversation. I think the only other person, not the only, but the other person who would make sense as a female rapper would be Queen Latifah. Yeah. But I think Queen Latifah has done so much more outside of hip hop, where talking about like the actual music Hall of Fame. Missy Elliott as a musician, I think, has done more. Queen Latifah actually introduced her, so they have that tie in there. Yeah. But I feel like it's right for Missy to be number one. Okay. Before we move on, do you have a favorite Missy song? Like, is there Missy? She has a lot of good ones. Yeah. I think for me, The Rain still is one of my favorites. But one that I would say, two that are recently like holding dear to me, and this one's not even her song, but the Busta Rhymes intro on Super Duper Fly. I love that intro so much. Sometimes I'll go listen to that intro just to get the vibe. And then Best Friends with her and Aaliyah. I actually got put onto that song from J. Cole when he did a cover of that on the Friday Night Lights mixtape. Right. But Best Friends with her and Aaliyah, like that's basically a straight R&B song, Right. And again, we talk about
the one with, remember we talked about the one with Beyonce too?
Yep, that's another one. It's like, again, we talk about, mixing R&B and rap. We don't put her in that category. And it's like, Best Friends is a straight R&B song with a legit R&B singer, which is, I don't know, decades before we have this new generation. So I always try and, reference that because she's a trailblazer in a bunch of ways.
Yep.
But I think for where music is now, especially trailblazer, because we haven't seen a female rapper really put R&B and rap together the way she did how many years ago, even to this day. Obviously, Nicki sings a little bit. People have their moments, but no one still has done what she did. Okay. I think Lauryn Hill was the closest, and we saw how popular she was, but Missy Elliott is really the template.
Yeah, I think my favorite Missy Elliott song is Lose Control.
Lose Control is a heater. Yeah.
Lose Control is probably my favorite song by Missy Elliott. I think that one of the best things about her music is that you can dance to it. I feel like a lot of her music is very danceable, and that's also why she has dancers in her music videos, right? Like, I feel like almost every music video she had, somebody was dancing in it.
Yeah, oh, for sure, sure.
And I feel like this song, it's also featuring, Sierra, Fat Man Scoop. So there's also a little, I would say, 2000s royalty. 2000s and 90s royalty on that track.
That was the era, man. That was like, again, I've been thinking about this a lot of like which songs, which moments from an artist's career actually travel past that time or live on. I'm thinking about it with Drake, like 10 years from now, what are going to be the Drake songs that, your kids or your nieces, your nephews, that are the songs that they know? Missy kind of has a lot of those moments where, she has a time at the beginning of the career, but Work It is like, 6, 7, 8 years into her career. Yeah. And that was some people's first time hearing her. So yeah, big love to Missy Elliott. Congrats again on being inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This last news is not as bad as the way we started, but not as good as the Missy Elliott news.
Yeah, I think that, okay, so our last thing is Young Thug. The trial has been set. Well, the date for it has been set for November 27th. It's going down. Okay.
Yep.
Young Thug, he's up on a RICO charge. And it's a RICO charge, I mean, that's what they try to get the mob with, bro. It's an organized crime type of deal. It's not fun and games. It's not a joke.
Yes.
A RICO charge, the law is coming for your ass. That's basically what that is. I think that's probably the best way to describe a RICO charge is like, the government is coming for your ass now.
Coming for your ass.
Like, seriously. It's not like, so, you broke one or two laws or, you got caught, robbing, like even robbing a bank, right? It's like, no, like you're running an organized, crime deal right now. And like, we're coming to crack this entire thing down. Right. So he is set for the 27th, November 27th. The article that I read about it basically said that this trial can go on for months, even close to a year. So we're just here saying that it's progressing, right?
It's about to start, but what I think some people have missed is that they selected the jurors already, 12 jurors, 6 alternates. And I don't want to say it was a rush, but that was kind of like pushing the trial to get started. If they hadn't selected these jurors as quickly as they did, the trial had to be moved back, and obviously they didn't want that. Yeah,
and he's in jail right now. Like, he's not outside.
Currently, definitely not outside. The jury, says it has 10 black women, 2 white women, 3 black men, and 3 white men as a part of that group of 18.
Yeah, it's jury of his peers.
I think this jury being so, largely skewed in black women, maybe that helps his case.
Yeah, I feel like, I do feel as though if there's black people on the jury, like, the jury board, I think that helps. Any black person, it helps to be, it helps for your jurors to also be black.
Yeah. And it's Atlanta. Again,
it's in Atlanta, yeah.
We mentioned before we started about DJ Drama's RICO case many years ago. Also an Atlanta native. Atlanta is not new to their celebrities getting involved with the law.
Shout out Keith Lee.
Yeah. So that's something that I think helps him.
Yeah.
One thing I want to mention, which is not, I don't know if I call this news, but we may never get another chance to do this. So I wanted to mention the nicknames of some of the defendants in the case that were along with Young Thug.
I saw that too.
And some of their real names are exciting enough, but let's start with the nicknames. There's B, Qua, Yak Gotti, another Qua, Lil Rod, and SB. Quarmarvius, DeMonte, and Marquavius. If you were wondering what, city this takes place in, the names should
Yeah, it's very obvious.
should give it away.
Yeah, these are, what's so crazy to me? Like, they kind of have football names.
100% football names.
Like Marquavius and Durante. That's like straight out of the NFL, bro.
Like, DeMonte can't read well, but he'll definitely stick the shit out of you.
Yeah, I think that creative names, I do like their names. Legit, Durante is actually a really good name. Like
Rodelius?
Rodelius is crazy. That's but it's crazy in a good way. It's almost like, I don't even know how to fully describe it. First of all, these are very black names, right?
Blackity.
But it's like a very creative naming structure. I wonder what it is about like black people in Atlanta that are giving their children these names. Because like, if you're from a certain region, like certain names are very common, right? Or naming conventions are common. But black names and them having like a Tay or Vias at Latin name, even the Migos. Their names are like that, right? Rodelius. Like, that's pretty crazy.
I wonder what that is.
Yeah.
This is what I've always said. This is, I think, how black people should name their kids, because there was a time where black names were like almost being created.
Yeah.
Uncle is named Jamal. Mother is named Kaylin. Okay, we calling him Jalen. You know? And that's just how things happen. There may be some of that here, but I like this way of naming people because this is unique. I feel like there cannot be 8 Quarmarvius.
Yeah, Quarmarvius.
That was really easy to say.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine there's 8 Quarmarviuses in his high school.
That's why he goes by Qua. That's why he goes by Qua.
Maybe it's Quay.
Or maybe it's Quay. Oh yeah, maybe it's Quay.
But
Yeah,
I think that it's gonna be an interesting trial. We had our internet lawyers, show their face with the Tory and Meg trial. We saw how that went. Shout out to everyone who somehow still has free Tory in their bio.
Yeah. You guys are, that's like kind of like fighting a war where, there's like the Japanese soldiers in the jungle. Remember when World War II was over, then there's these 2 Japanese like commandos that were like still in the jungle for like 10 years after the war was over.
This is 100%.
And people were like, hey, the war is over. And they're like, I don't believe you. I don't believe we would never surrender. I don't believe that. I feel like the people with the free Tory is still in their bio. Like, you guys are those who are like, it's done.
That's the quickest sign of mental illness, I think, having free Tory in your bio. Last but not least, they said this jury selection has already lasted longer than any other trial in Georgia history. It's been over a year, so makes some sense. What are your predictions for this? I know we don't know anything. I know we don't have any information, but I want to know what you think before this trial even starts, because this is different from the Tory and Meg trial in many different ways. I would say that as a collective, the public wants to see Young Thug free.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to come to light in terms of things he's been involved or not involved with. But this is one of those things where they say, free my dogs, free the man dem. And you're like, your dog has 8 murders under his belt.
Yeah.
Let's not free him. So I personally am interested to see how that grows, how that changes. Will the public stay with him? I'm assuming his image won't change. But right now it seems like it's not hopeful.
Yeah.
And I would say that's where I'm heading into this, where it seems like he's going away.
Yeah, for Young Thug, I'm like, I just think, first of all, having the black jury, or mostly black jury, helps.
Definitely.
Just because of like implicit bias. Just like straight up, right? Well, you're a black dude and your jury's like all white. Toast. You're most likely going to jail.
You're toast.
Most likely just because of the implicit bias thing, right? So having there be black jurors helps. I feel as though he has been locked up since the beginning. Like, he did not get
he's no bail.
Yeah, he didn't get any bail or anything like that. So they're really trying to to get him on this. And I feel like the RICO charges are like, those are like, what, like 90-something% success rates? Like,
They are made to stick to you.
Yeah.
That's how I say it. Made to stick to you.
I am doubtful, to be honest, of Young Thug somehow getting out of this. Doubtful. But I want him to. You know, I think that and that's kind of weird to say, but I think Young Thug's like in the music space. Free YSL is very you know, is very much in vogue. Let's say it's very much in vogue. Everybody wants, you know, their favorite artists to get out, right, and for them to be okay and for them to continue releasing, you know, their art, right. So, if he can somehow bust this case, first of all, his legacy would be just like imprinted on him, right? The fact that he beat RICO charges, but also, I just want there to be more Young Thug music. I think also because of how influential Young Thug is, whether or not it's through his label, like he's a person that found Gunna and Baby.
Yeah.
Right? And then also his lyrical style being copied and like, you know, spun in different ways by Uzi, by Drake, by Playboi Carti, you know, Future. Like he's immensely influential in a lot of ways, right? So we kind of want that guy to continue to be influential because if he's already done all of this in the small span of time, we'd love to see what he does further on in his life. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So just on a strictly even just artistic basis, you want Young Thug to get out of this.
Yeah. Just for the art alone.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about two things. You mentioned his influence in Atlanta. Obviously huge.
Immense.
Huge. You know, when Gucci went away, we saw how different he was when he came back.
Yeah.
And obviously he was a legend before then, but what he's done since has been huge. I do wonder how this will affect the next generation of artists because, you know, currently NBA Youngboy is on house arrest for, you know, month 20 in a row.
Right.
And it feels as if that younger artist is not leaving the streets behind as quickly as you feel like maybe they should or could. And maybe Young Thug will help change that. Maybe this trial, being public, you know, stuff that comes out about the trial, what he's involved with and not involved with, maybe that will be part of the impetus for the new younger artist to say, okay, you know what, I got my ticket, I'm a rapper now, let me leave that alone. Because I think that is something that as the music industry has grown, as more rappers are making money, that part hasn't changed. You know, we still see a lot of rappers, Pop Smoke, King Von, you know, pass too quickly.
Yeah.
Still being somewhat involved in that life or coming from that life. And then you see artists who, even like Young Thug, who are established, making a bunch of money that is above board, but still somehow involved. So my hope is that maybe this will change that a little bit and it will be like, okay, it's not as cool to still stay on that side. Of course, people are people. That's highly unlikely. But that's just my hope from this because I'm not hopeful right now. I feel like I would love for Thug to be free YSL. Yeah. But the way it looks right now,
I don't think it's happening.
It doesn't look like it's going to happen for a while.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get, you know, this is the last thing, and this is horribly hopeful to say, but maybe we'll get, you know, a prison versus.
Oh my God.
And it will be
him versus Tory.
Him versus Tory, and the undercard will be Casanova versus who? I don't know who else is locked up right now. I was gonna say 42 Doug, but 42 Doug just came home.
Casanova versus like TK.
Versus TK. Or
YNW Melly? Or YNW Melly.
Oh, okay, so maybe we have a double undercard because I was gonna say Max B versus TK.
Okay.
And then we can do YNW Melly versus Casanova.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
this is the grimmest versus ever. The saddest versus ever.
Very, very.
But free YSL. We want Young Thug out for the music, for the art. Again, so maybe people recognize how important he is actually to Atlanta to music and just music overall at this point, right? Because when you're the guy who finds Gunna and Lil Baby and then is influencing Playboi Carti in Future, you're having a huge impact, even though people don't know your name. Like I feel like his popularity is not commensurate with how influential and how important he is to music currently.
Interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's Soundbites for today. Thank you everybody for tuning in. People on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I need comments free YSL. Comment free YSL if you made it to this point, because we need Young Buck back.
Comment free YSL.
But thank you for everybody for listening today, watching today. Make sure you subscribe at Album Mode on the YouTubes, and then it's at Album Mode Pod on all the socials: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, at Album Mode Pod. And make sure that you're commenting on the TikTok and YouTube, or the TikTok and the Instagram videos, because I feel like everybody's getting into a battle, and make your voice be heard. Okay. Everybody
put your hat in the ring.
Yeah,
battle with someone,
because it's a knife fight, and why not jump in and see if you can be the gladiator that defeats everybody else. So thank you everybody for tuning in, and Adriel,